Welcome, nerds. I'm here with Katie
Hi, guys.
of the Locker Room, and we're here to talk about some really exciting things that are going to be happening at the end of the month here. We're doing a cross promotion. Also talk about a little bit about the Locker Room that I've mentioned. Me and the crew have mentioned a couple of times on the podcast. So Katie's here to give you all the 411 and straight from the source. So before we get into the Locker Room, I have some fun questions to ask Katie. Just to get her going and get her nerd brain going a little bit. You ready for this, Katie?
Yeah, I'm ready. Hit me with it.
All right. First, I'm going to start with some softballs. So, coffee or tea?
Tea, of course. That's what we're drinking.
Yeah, and coffee and tea are two things you can get here at the Locker Room.
Absolutely.
I have not tried coffee at all. I am a coffee person, but I'm a creature of habit, as Katie could probably tell you. I'm a very creature of habit. Have you been on your dream vacation? If not, what is your dream vacation?
No, I haven't been. I would say my dream vacation is probably like a 2-week tour of Ireland. I think it's beautiful landscape. I would love to just tour through the entire area. I think that would be awesome.
The last movie you've watched?
Inception.
Inception. What'd you think of it?
I love Inception. I've watched it 800 times.
That's on your list?
Yes, I love it.
What TV show do you like?
The Office, hands down. Only thing I watch.
I can binge watch Breaking Bad. That's me.
Oh yeah, that's a good one.
What are you watching now? Is it The Office?
The Office, always.
Always.
I can quote every line. I've been in a trivia contest. We did a costume trivia bar crawl one time. It was awesome.
What are you listening to right now?
Craig Rochelle's Leadership podcast.
Got to write that down.
Yeah, it's a good one. He's really good.
Worst injury you have ever had?
So I, in high school, dislocated my kneecap. And it was out of place for 3.5 hours the first time. And then I did it 7 more times after that. So it's like a kind of.
Is that when you were being Spider-Man?
No, I was not being Spider-Man at the moment.
What were you doing 3 hours ago?
Taxes. So
taxes.
Super light. Not.
Actually, and this is the one, now we're getting to questions I'm kind of interested in because it kind of speaks to your nutrition side of brain, I would imagine. When do you usually go to sleep?
Well, ideally, I'd love to go to bed about 9 p.m. But actually, in real life, I would say typically between midnight and 2, sometimes 3. It depends on what I have going on. But somewhere in that range.
As somebody that's into nutrition, is that something you recommend, or is that kind of not normal?
Ideally, I believe you need between 6 and 8 hours of sleep or more, depending on who you are and how you function. I personally run on a little bit less, but I've also done that for a long time. So my body's kind of acclimated to it. But yeah, sleep is a very crucial part of good nutrition. So don't allow me to devalue it.
Don't tell her I go to sleep at 2 a.m. I'm up editing. So when did you last go on vacation?
It would have been the end of March. I went to Colorado to meet my boyfriend's family.
Nice. Was that a fun trip?
Oh, it was an absolute blast. His brother is a chef, and we ate this incredible tableside carved steak. It was this steak was the best.
Oh, one of those things where just
yeah, and there was smoke, and he took the dome and blew it all over the table. It was the coolest thing I've ever seen.
That's awesome. Have you watched any movies this week? Did you watch Inception this week?
Yeah, I watched it this week.
All right. Who is your favorite superhero?
So we've talked about it a little bit. Spider-Man for sure, my superhero, by far the favorite. I think he's just a regular dude trying to help people, and I think that's really cool. And he has a video. I guess he shared it earlier.
I did.
And so I'm dressed up as Superman. This was back in high school. I have a bodysuit of Superman, and I'm jumping around my high school always. It was crazy. I just ran around the school all day.
Let's have her go viral, people. That's the plan. While we're talking about favorite superheroes, I want to address what we have in front of us right now. So, if you know anything about me and the podcast, I am pushing for a calendar man, anything. And Katie was awesome enough to make a calendar man tee. Can you explain how this was made?
Yeah. So typically we base kind of our tees around colors so that it represents a character or whatever we're creating. So this one in particular, your character's typically red and white in most of the depictions of it. So that one's we call it a cherry bomb base. So it's a pomegranate liftoff, which is a B6 B12 booster with some cherry flavoring, topped with it's a sweet pina colada mix on top. And so that is the calendar man.
And Katie is rocking, for you, Shauna, for Lady Mocha, Squirrel Girl.
Yes. So I hear that you inspired this character. And so we will have some fun treats for you guys come Saturday.
Nice.
Some exciting stuff. So, but yes, this one is a kind of like a Skittles base is what we call it. So it's kind of tastes like you threw all the Skittles together in the bottom and then like an orange peach mix on top.
Mm-hmm. I was speaking like some like nuts on top or something.
Well, maybe we'll do that.
If you could have any superpower, what would it be?
Oh, I would fly. Hands down.
Fly.
Yep. I have a kind of different podcast, but I love Mary Poppins. Big fan. Since I was little, I've been obsessed with like this concept of her and the umbrella and that she just like flies with it. So if I could pick anything, it would for sure be flying. Nice.
So now let's get into the promotion that we've been hitting at. What gave you the idea for the idea of a DC versus Marvel themed week, which is coming up?
Yeah.
What gave you the idea for that?
Yeah, so the 28th is Superhero Day, April 28th. So typically we kind of try to morph things around, whether it's days or holidays or events happening and things like that. So this obviously was a perfect time to implement this. So we have 10 different characters that are versus one another. And each day there is a Marvel character versus a DC character throughout the week. So each day, Monday through Friday. And then on Friday evening, we will go live and announce out of the, like throughout the week, if more DC characters sold or more Marvel characters sold. And then that means on Saturday, those 5 only will get to come back. So people can come in and enjoy whatever their favorite flavor was from the week.
Is Counterman in the list?
It isn't, but we may have, it may be an honorary character. Okay. Same with Squirrel Girl. We'll see what we get.
So as far as activities, besides the competition between the drinks, is there anything that we can plan? Anything we can drop right now?
Yeah, we're actually going to be doing some giveaways, particularly on social media.
Okay.
So we'll have a couple different things typically on our Instagram stories or a like, share, tag kind of post. So if you'll stay tuned for those, we're going to do a t-shirt giveaway. Actually, we'll probably do 2 t-shirt giveaways as well as maybe a drink giveaway if you're in our area. So yeah, stay tuned for that stuff. And they should be pretty fun stuff.
Should be. And merch has arrived here, so they'll be rocking Entertainment Nerd News merch.
Absolutely.
Which I'm very excited about. I've seen the shirts and I think they turned out rather well. So how do you develop drink ideas? Like how do you come up with like different ideas as far as what's on your menu?
Yeah, so for the most part, like in McPherson in specific or any of our nutrition clubs, we pretty much try and create a menu revolving around the town. So here in McPherson, like in our Super Bomb category, it's just like our highest tea category level. Mm-hmm. We have 5 different drinks that are named after the elementary school mascots. Right. So we try to really cater to the area. This one's called the Locker Room, obviously. So we have drinks like touchdown and home run and different like sports terms. And so people like that type of thing. We have the school mascots. We have a bullpup, a bulldog, a central tiger, so we try to really kind of customize things to around here because it's fun to come in and get your mascot at the locker room or whatever.
Get a bulldog.
Yep, exactly. On game day, we have people who religiously come in and get bulldogs. Like,
are you serious?
Yes, absolutely.
That's awesome.
It's like their superstition thing now. Yeah, so we do a lot of that, but outside of that, as far as like pop-up flavors and stuff go, a lot of times we use like calendar events and different things, holidays, things of that nature that we kind of work around.
Awesome. How many locations does the locker room have?
So we're actually all independently owned. So there's only one locker room location, but as far as nutrition clubs go, there are actually more nutrition clubs around the nation than there are Starbucks.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's a huge thing. They're all just independently owned. So you won't see the locker room nutrition and energy anywhere else, but you will see the Ridge Nutrition at Maple and Maize in Wichita, which is my very original one. You'll see Sand Creek Nutrition in Newton, which is the other one I currently own. In our organization around Wichita and the surrounding areas, we have, I think we're at 16, maybe 17. We just keep like signing leases, so it's growing a lot. But I think we have 17 around the area.
How do you manage all that?
So I personally only have to like totally manage 2 of them. And so that is balancing enough for me personally, but I just kind of get to mentor a lot of the other locations. And so like as they're doing things, if they have questions, they can reach out. Most of them trained out of a nutrition club originally, and then they went to duplicate their own locations. And so they've kind of got a grasp on it, and then we just get to help them fine tune details and answer questions.
Is it just more like an overseer?
Yeah. I just get to help, which is cool.
How does someone outside of these locations, like we have a big following in New York, for example, how does somebody outside these locations on the East and West Coast get these drinks?
Yeah, absolutely. So a couple different options. A, find a local nutrition club. I'm sure there is 100 billion up there. Option B is anything we do behind the bar here, you can also do at home. So like Adrian has products at home, so he can make a shake and tea at home whenever he wants. And that's something I can hook you up with information on that if that's something you're interested in. And you can get as creative as you want. That's the cool part at home. You aren't restricted to whatever's on our menu. You can whip up whatever your little heart desires.
Mm-hmm. And I will have her email in this video right around there, right there. I'm staring at it right now. How do I refuel after my workouts? What's the best thing to do after a workout?
Mm-hmm. So as far as that goes, we have a whole section on our menu called, we call them ripped shakes. And so you can come in and it's a post-workout shake. So it involves our Rebuild Strength, which is a post-workout. So it has L-glutamine, BCAAs, and it's specifically a whey casein protein blend, which is designed as a fast-releasing and a slow-releasing protein. So your body's going to be absorbing right after the workout as well as into your day. So it helps rebuild those muscle fibers that you've torn during your workout. It helps. I personally think it helps with soreness. It's like if I don't drink it after a workout, I feel it. But yeah, absolutely. You have to do something to refuel, and lots of water because you just sweat out a lot of your hydration. So both of those things are key.
How do you, now this is where most people fall off because of holidays and social events. How do you plan for social events when you're trying to stick to a diet?
Yeah, that's a huge thing. We've been talking about it as you're about to go to New York. So ultimately, my biggest tip is that this is a lifestyle diet, quote unquote. I'd say it's more of a lifestyle, not so much a diet. So the ultimate goal is not to do something for 2 months and then be like, oh, great, I'm done. Because that is when people are like, well, I tried it and then I gained the weight back. So you have to learn to work things into a lifestyle. So that means when you're going on vacation, maybe you get to be a little more laxed and enjoy your vacation, because who wants to miss an entire vacation full of food? Well, I sure don't, and I'm a nutrition coach. So. Yeah,
especially when you're about to judge some food. So.
Yeah, I've heard. I'm excited to see that. So I mean, you have to learn to find balance in life. But that means as soon as you get back from vacation, you get to go strict on your plan. So
she just told me she's about to be mean to me when I get back.
Yeah, pretty much.
What should I be looking at when I look at like nutrition labels when I'm shopping for food? Like what are those some trigger words that make me want to put it down?
So I would say, I mean, things to be looking for in general. Obviously, you're looking at your calorie count. And portion size per your calorie count, because if you can cut your portion size in half, even if the label says that's a full serving, that doesn't necessarily that's what fits in your plan. So calorie count, I always look at protein. That's kind of my number one thing I'm looking at. I obviously want it to be something high protein if that's the intention behind it. If it's not something that I'm intending to be a protein source, then I'm looking at carbohydrates. So basically the difference between your carbohydrates are sugars or sugars or fiber. I was like, well, what's the other part of it? So fiber is typically considered a good carb. So when we talk about net carbs, that means they've subtracted out the fiber because that is a good carbohydrate. And ultimately, I think a big stigma around carbs are bad, which is totally incorrect. Carbs are what fuel your body. That is like it gives you brain power. It's how you function. Carbs are absolutely necessary in your world. But finding them in moderation and in the correct sources are the key. So something high in sugar is not a great source of carbohydrates versus where if it's a fiber-based carb, that's a good option. And you'll find balance in both of those. Having natural sugars and healthy sugars are great as well. Kind of like in fruit, there's natural sugars in fruit. Typically, we recommend use fruit around a workout because your body's going to use those natural sugars and absorb them and use it as fuel versus storing it as body fat.
At one point to me, you were mentioning, and this was kind of surprising to me, I didn't realize this, that sugar is sugar no matter where it comes from, because I was joking about eating a lot of fruit. And you mentioned, well, a lot of fruit is just as bad as probably candy.
Yep. So I mean, there are different types of sugar. There's like natural sugars, refined sugars, alcohol sugars, all different kinds of sugars. But ultimately, when it boils right down to it, sugar is still counted as sugar, whether it's coming from a strawberry or a Snickers. So take your pick, find your balance, but know that in fruit can be kind of a dangerous thing. Great for hydration, great antioxidants. By no means am I telling you not to eat fruit. Incorporate it into your diet. It's awesome. But the correct fruits are also important, because like a banana is extremely starchy and high in carbs, very high in sugar in comparison to a berry of some sort. Typically they're a little less starch dense.
So basically you're telling me that if I want to look like Superman, I need to eat like grain fibers and like.
Yep, fibers are great. Particularly, typically what we recommend is a high protein, lower carb diet, incorporating some healthy fats. Particularly fibrous carbs are awesome. So that's your veggies, baked, steamed, however you want to do it. But incorporating lots of green and colorful vegetables into your diet.
What are some questions that you wish, like when you take on a client and you're helping them through their nutritional path, like you wish they would ask you, but they never ask you? And what are some common believed myths that people come in with?
As far as questions go, I think probably asking more about some of the myths would be helpful, because I think a lot of times, like I said, people associate carbs as bad, and that is super untrue. They just have a poor relationship with carbs, and people have told them, oh, don't eat carbs, avoid carbs. So I think if they ask more questions about those, they would feel a little more informed going forward. And we do our best to inform people of that type of thing, but we can't cover it all until they encounter it. As far as myths go, I would say don't eat after 8 p.m. That's a bunch of crap. If you were up till 2 a.m., you need to continue to fuel your body until 2 a.m. It just needs to stay really lean, because you're about to go into a fast overnight. So your body's going to store something if it's high sugar carb, the crappy snacks that lots of us eat at night.
So they're down like a pound of Skittles before
Not
bed.
A solid choice.
Okay. That's good to know. Now I got questions from the squad, from the Nerd Squad, from Shauna. So Lady Mocha, aka Squirrel Girl, wants to know, how do you feel nutrition plays into nerd and pop culture?
Yeah, I think that's a really interesting question. So as far as that goes, we actually have a coach on our team who he does game design and is very into nerd pop culture, super geeky guy. We love him. And so it's been interesting to kind of see his balance. So he is a gym rat who's a nerd, and you don't always see that a lot of times. So that's been kind of a cool thing that we've seen. As far as like, I think often in pop and nerd culture and with video games and all of those type of things, a lot of times it's a sedimentary lifestyle. And so learning how to incorporate the two. We actually have Super Cyan Training is a guy who comes in here.
What?
Yeah. He has a whole Instagram page, and it's all revolving around. I mean, so it's been really interesting to see how people incorporate their nerd love into a fitness lifestyle. And so I think pretty much the stigma is that you have to eat junk food and be lazy.
Which is not true.
Which is not true at all. And I think that's the stigma around it. And so I think probably learning how to incorporate things that taste good. I made you a tea that tasted like a 7-Up one time, but it was
great.
Healthy. And so basically helping people understand that you can drink and eat things that taste good, that are good for you. You don't just have to eat cheese puffs, you know what I mean? So, I mean, there are so many options out there that I think people just don't even know about. And so I think, it all just kind of plays a role into it. And it's been really cool, like I said, to see how people have incorporated and kind of broken that stigma with, I'm a nerd and I love to work out. And I think that's really cool.
My question, since it's part of kind of what we do, the New York crew likes to review breweries and stuff like that. How do you feel about alcohol in a plan?
So as far as that goes, again, I think it's a lifestyle. I have a beer every now and again. I think you are allowed to have an alcoholic beverage. It's, again, everything is about moderation. And finding a balance in life. So typically, if you're on a plan, I would not recommend drinking beer. A lot of times it's very high in sugars and things, or in carbs and different elements of that nature. Same with mixed drinks. If you're mixing it with pop, obviously that's not ideal. So
Jack and Coke, dang it.
But again, it's a balance. And so a lot of times if people are on a plan, there's lots of healthy options at this point. You have Trulies, you have, low carb beers, you have just like a classic gin and tonic kind of thing. I mean, there are a lot of things that, could be an option, although naturally alcohol does kind of hinder your body. So it's something to keep in mind when you're on a plan. If you're, focused around health and fitness, alcohol is not something that is necessarily conducive to a healthy lifestyle. So it's important to monitor how much you're consuming.
Okay. And then next up is Uncle Black. his favorite person is Green Lantern, which I hear that's going to be in the works.
It is in the works.
All right. So he wants to know, what's the most creative drink that you think you've made?
So we did a Dr. Seuss pop-up week a couple weeks ago, and we had some really crazy ones. We had Circus McGurkus, which was like 3 colored. It was like yellow, blue, and red on top, or reddish purple. So that was a really cool looking one. We did Cat in the Hat Cosmo, and it was like a red, white, and black one. We did the Lorax and moose juice and goose juice. And, I mean, we just did all kinds of crazy stuff. So out of those, or we also did an office themed pop-up week. And personally, that's my favorite. And so we did all kinds of fun ones for that. We did like a Shroot Farms, and it looked like a beet. So we can cater to just about anything. So it's really fun to come up with the drink ideas.
And I think you've been really pondering this next question for a little bit.
Yes.
So he wants to know, zombie apocalypse or mutant invasion, which would you prefer?
I prefer is a strange word. Okay, so I have been thinking about this all day long. I really feel like I'd have to go with a zombie apocalypse.
Okay.
I feel more educated on a zombie apocalypse, so I feel like if I had to go into something.
You think you could survive?
I don't think. I think I would die for sure. But I think it would be fun trying to survive. So I think it would. Yeah, I think it would just be really interesting to watch this all unfold, and I think the world would be created simpler in a sense.
Mm-hmm.
All your everyday things that we lean on, technology and rudimentary things as far as toilet paper and hygiene, like go out the window, and so you're creating this entire new world in essence. And that's if I get to be like the 0.01% of the population that is not a zombie. I could go for being a zombie though. I think that could maybe be fun. Just run around eating people.
You find me in a corner just curled up.
Oh, perfect.
Rocking back.
What would you prefer?
I think I would prefer a zombie mutant invasion.
Hey, okay, combine the two.
Yeah.
The zombie is kind of a mutant in essence. So.
I would, let's just, why not? Just
combine it all together. If we're gonna end the world, let's go all out, right?
Exactly. And finally, this is a kind of a deep one. He wants to know, business-wise, what are your goals? What do you want your legacy to be?
That is kind of a deep question. So as far as what I do on a daily basis, my ultimate goal is just to impact people and create a healthier, happier lifestyle for them. But on the ulterior side, I also, I mentor a whole team full of people, and for them, I strive to help them reach their goals. And ultimately, I think impacting people is probably a broad term for my mission in life, whether that be financially, whether that be nutritionally, whatever it is. I love and have a passion for people.
Mm-hmm.
I love the conversations and relationships we get to have. Nutrition goes so much deeper than just eating the right foods.
Right.
We just talked about stress eating, and stress eating and emotional eating, and there's so many elements to it that we get to talk about outside of just, here are your macros, here are your micronutrients.
Good luck.
Yeah. Good luck. Drink your teas. So. There's just a whole nother layer to it that we get to break through barriers with people, and some people don't even want to hop on the scale. There's body shaming and all kinds of stuff that we deal with as nutrition coaches and in a wellness field. And so I think creating a good relationship with nutrition for people is a big part of that. So impacting people in general, whether it's through nutrition or through emotional realms of basically pushing people past what their limits are, in a good way. And, I think seeing further than they can see. And so our company, kind of one phrase that we use a lot is borrow my eyes, is I can see more for my clients than they can see. So
Right.
they're kind of short visioned, nearsighted. And my goal is that I can be, kind of cast that vision for them and
I think
it's through those barriers.
Yeah, I think there's an element to that. At least for me, I could say, I see myself in the mirror every day.
Yeah.
So even subtle changes or little wins, Katie could tell you this, I get hard to get excited about, because it's just I don't think I've changed.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I don't think I've had a good week,
Mm-hmm.
and having that nutritionist, somebody in your corner to be like, no, you're doing good, or you're doing bad.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know,
sometimes you need a reality check.
It is good. So I would highly suggest that if you're looking for somebody like that, I would suggest Katie, and the email is definitely there. I don't know if you can work with somebody who's in a different city.
Yeah, absolutely. I have clients all over the U.S. Actually, I have a couple outside of the country. I mean, this isn't. We're in 94 different countries as far as our company goes. So super flexible as far as that is. We do a lot of virtual check-ins. We even have virtual like weight loss challenges and stuff that we host. So yeah, if that's something you guys are interested in, feel free to shoot me an email. I'd be happy to kind of run you through. We usually start with a wellness profile and just kind of outline your goals and show you how we can use the products and help you out. But and you get to make fun teas at home.
And if you're in the McPherson, Kansas area, the chances are you're going to see this nerd here like every day.
Yeah, pretty much.
So with that, we're going to let you guys go. But I want to highly suggest, like I said, contact Katie if you have any nutrition questions or are interested in buying some of these products or getting on a plan. Also, stay tuned in for the week of April 26th through, I think that'd be the 30th. Mm-hmm. For all the happenings, we're going to be live streaming on Friday of that week, I believe. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And also there'll be things going up on socials about that week going forward. So stay tuned. A lot up the pipeline, and catch you guys later.